Overall command of Army Group B on the Western Front was Field Marshal Walter Model. Throughout March 7th and into March 8th, he organized retreats across the Rhine. Specifically, many German troops had been stranded on the western banks. He considered these troops his highest priority, needing them for the defense of Germany. When he learned of Remagen, Model was enraged, immediately placed General Joachim Kreuzfleisch in charge of recapturing and destroying the Luddendorf Bridge. Kreuzfleisch could only divert a small number of men immediately, as most of the troops were already preoccupied with their slow retreat into Germany. But he gathered elements of the 15th Army from the west side of the Rhine. The only others he could find were a few anti-aircraft forces, Hitler Youth, Volkssturm, and local police units. To further complicate their issue, the German command structure had utterly broken down. Who was in charge of what? One of their generals had even been captured as early as March 6th without anyone noticing. General Fritz Bayerlein, who served as General Erwin Rommel's chief of staff in Africa, was placed in charge of the nearby Panzerlehr Division, German armored division. These soldiers did have a reputation for being a formidable fighting force with elite, well-trained, and battle-hardened men under their command. They numbered around 5,000 men, 55 tanks, and 30 artillery pieces, all assigned from other sectors to drive back the American bridgehead. Drama immediately started between Bayerlein and Model. Being Hitler's watchdog, Model pushed Bayerlein to attack immediately, despite his forces being scattered, tired, and undersupplied. Bayerlein made the case that their lack of fuel would make things difficult. It would be best to wait and attack all at once, hard and heavy, instead of piecemeal. Both men knew that with every second that passed, more Americans would funnel across the Luddendorf Bridge, and they would become harder to check. In fact, come daytime on March 8th, the Americans had 8,000 soldiers across the bridge and began to push into Germany. Several German generals had reached out to Major Strobel, who had continued to harangue as many troops as possible to counter the expanding American bridgehead. He was ordered to continue his counterattacks despite his undermanned and outgunned forces, but these orders conflicted. This was the ultimate breakdown in German command. General Richard Wirtz, Model's Army Group B engineer officer, wanted Strobel to use local ferries to float boats down the Rhine and place other explosives on the bridge. Then there was General Kurz von Berg, supposedly the officer in charge of building defenses on the eastern side of the Rhine. Quote, he thought the engineers should be used as infantry to counterattack and wipe out the American bridgehead.